The injury news hit the Raiders fan base like a punch to the gut. Lonnie Johnson Jr. broke his fibula during the team's mock game, an unfortunate and freak accident after colliding with Max Crosby. This is a huge blow for a defense that was counting on Johnson to be a key piece of their secondary. He wasn't just any player. He was the third safety, playing some single high safety snaps, a role that can be hard to replace in a defense that relies heavily on versatility and movement. Now, the big question hanging over the silver and black is how Pete Carroll, Patrick Graham, and John Spytek will adjust their defensive scheme to compensate for this unexpected loss. Johnson's injury came at a time when he was really carving out his place with the Raiders, and hearing him say, "Still gonna retire a Raider," just makes it even harder to accept the situation. It's that kind of loyalty and commitment that fans want to see. A player who wants to make Las Vegas home, not just for himself, but for his family, his wife, and his 4 kids. It's heartbreaking because just days before the injury, Johnson talked about wanting to find stability, a permanent place after bouncing around the league. That's the kind of mentality that embodies what it means to be a Raider: grit, dedication, and a will to fight through adversity. Now, with Johnson sidelined, the Raiders coaching staff has to figure out who steps up to fill that void. I've been breaking down potential replacements and ranking them because, let's be honest, this isn't a one-man job. It's going to take a collective effort to cover what Johnson brought to the defense, starting with Isaiah Pola-Mao, who is already the starting free safety. Even though he has the starting role, the Raiders will likely lean on him to take on an even bigger responsibility this season. They are experimenting with various players in the secondary during training camp and the preseason, but Isaiah remains a solid foundation for this spot. Next up, Trey Taylor is a name to keep in mind. He's a backup, but someone who has been pushing hard to prove he deserves a roster spot. While Taylor wasn't the immediate choice to replace Johnson when the injury occurred, he's someone who will be battling every day to earn snaps. And that kind of determination could pay dividends down the line. Trey has shown flashes of potential, and the coaching staff will definitely be watching him closely as camp progresses. JT Woods is another versatile defensive back who's caught the attention of the staff. Though he spent most of the recent practice reps at cornerback, his ability to slide between safety and nickel corner roles makes him a valuable chess piece for Patrick Graham's defense, which relies on adaptability and movement. His athleticism could make him an option to get significant playing time, especially in sub-packages or as the defense adjusts to the absence of Johnson. However, when it comes to the 2 players most likely to shoulder the bulk of the responsibility, Thomas, Harper, and Chris Smith rise to the top of the list. Harper has already seen time at free safety and even filled in briefly for Johnson during the mock game. He's familiar with the scheme and brings the flexibility Graham wants, as the defensive system involves rotating players and mixing coverages. Harper's ability to play both safety and defensive back will be critical as the team looks to patch holes in the secondary. But the player everyone is really talking about as Johnson's primary replacement is Chris Smith. Smith was the first to come off the bench after Johnson's injury during the mock game, and he's the name that both Pete Carroll and John Spytek have publicly mentioned as the guy who will step into the role. Drafted in the 5th round of the 2023 NFL Draft out of Georgia, Smith is still a rookie, but one who has shown promise. He may not be a traditional free safety, and honestly, there isn't a true free safety on the roster right now. But Smith's skill set, versatility, and athleticism make him the best candidate to fill that void. His development will be critical to how the Raiders secondary performs this season. It's worth noting that neither Johnson nor Smith is a prototypical free safety in the classic sense. This team's defense has been built on players who can play multiple roles, cover a lot of ground, and handle both run support and deep coverage responsibilities. The Raiders have been lacking a true center fielder type free safety for some time, which makes the free safety position one of the biggest question marks on the roster heading into the new season. Because of this, it's clear the Raiders need to seriously consider the free agent market and look beyond just the names currently on the roster. With the salary cap and financial constraints the team is facing, targeting free agents who can immediately upgrade the position makes a lot of sense. My top target, if I were in charge of making calls with John Spytek and Pete Carroll right after Johnson went down, would be Justin Simmons. Simmons is a proven veteran who has started at least 12 games every year since 2017, with well over 100 games played and started in his career. His first defensive backs coach was Joe Woods, who is now the Raiders pass game coordinator, so there is a strong coaching connection there. Simmons has been a consistent performer with a history of interceptions and solid coverage grades. Signing him could be a game changer for the Raiders secondary, offering an upgrade over Isaiah Pola-Mao and providing the kind of stability the defense desperately needs. Another free agent option that fits the Raiders' needs is Quandre Diggs. At 32 years old, Diggs brings a wealth of experience, including 5 seasons with Pete Carroll in Seattle. He can play in the box, cover tight ends and running backs, and has a physical style that matches what the Raiders want in their safeties. While he might not be the best deep coverage guy compared to Simmons, Diggs offers versatility and leadership. That could make him a valuable addition to this defense. John Johnson is another interesting name. He is a player with center field ability, capable of dropping deep into coverage. Though he missed 15 games last season due to injury and is approaching 30 years of age, Johnson has played multiple roles in the secondary and has been linked to the Raiders before. His versatility and experience could be a solid fit, especially given the current uncertainty around the safety position. Younger and cheaper options include Jordan Whitehead, who has a Super Bowl ring and a coaching connection to John Spytek. Whitehead played primarily free safety last season and offers some ability to play closer to the line of scrimmage or in the slot. At 28 years old and with over 100 career starts, Whitehead could be an intriguing candidate for the role, especially if the Raiders are looking to manage salary cap concerns while still improving the position. Finally, there is Stephon Gilmore. While Gilmore has primarily been a cornerback and is in his mid-30s, he is a former Defensive Player of the Year with a history of elite play. If he can transition to free safety, much like Charles Woodson did late in his career, Gilmore could bring a wealth of experience and ball skills to the position. Though this is a less conventional move, it might be a necessary one if the Raiders' top free agent targets decline interest. In the end, the Raiders face a critical moment with the safety position. Lonnie Johnson Jr.'s injury is a setback, but it also opens a door for the team to rethink and retool their secondary. Whether they trust the development of players like Chris Smith and Thomas Harper, or decide to pursue experienced veterans like Justin Simmons and Quandre Diggs, the decisions made in the coming weeks will shape how this defense performs in 2024. The pressure is on the front office and coaching staff to find a way to keep this unit competitive, because the Raiders' success this season will depend heavily on how well they can replace a player who was meant to be a cornerstone of their defense. The loss of Lonnie Johnson Jr. not only shakes the Raiders' secondary, but reverberates throughout the entire defensive unit, placing a larger burden on the front seven and cornerbacks to compensate for the disruption. The synergy between safeties and linebackers is essential in this defense. The communication, the trust, and the timing all must be finely tuned to execute Pete Carroll and Patrick Graham's game plans. Without a reliable free safety, the defense's back end risks becoming vulnerable to deep shots and crossing routes, forcing corners to tighten coverage and linebackers to cheat more toward the intermediate zones. This domino effect could lead to mismatches and openings that opposing offenses will be eager to exploit. It's not just about plugging a hole at free safety. It's about adjusting the entire defensive strategy to accommodate a key player's absence. This might involve simplifying coverage calls or leaning more on zone defenses that rely on pattern recognition and team discipline rather than man-to-man isolation. The coaches might also increase blitz packages to pressure quarterbacks more quickly, hoping to force hurried decisions before receivers can capitalize on the secondary's new weaknesses. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a stunning and unexpected turn of events, quarterback Trevor Lawrence has officially confirmed his move to the Las Vegas Raiders, sending shockwaves through the NFL community and igniting a frenzy among fans and analysts alike. After months of speculation surrounding his future with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Lawrence made the announcement via a social media post accompanied by a heartfelt video thanking Jaguars fans for their support over the years. The move comes as part of a blockbuster trade that had been quietly brewing behind closed doors, catching even seasoned insiders by surprise. Known for his poise, leadership, and impressive passing abilities, Lawrence now brings his talents to a franchise eager to regain its former glory. For the Raiders, this acquisition marks a bold statement of intent and a clear signal that the organization is serious about building a championship-caliber team. The reactions from fans in both Jacksonville and Las Vegas have been passionate, with some mourning the departure of a franchise cornerstone while others celebrate the arrival of a potential savior. As the NFL offseason continues, Lawrence's relocation stands as the most talked about development, eclipsing even major draft headlines. What this means for the dynamics of the AFC remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the Raiders just raised the stakes. Trevor Lawrence's arrival in Las Vegas signifies more than just a change in scenery. It symbolizes a cultural and strategic shift within the Raiders organization. For years, the Raiders have been searching for a franchise quarterback capable of steering them deep into the playoffs and eventually back to the Super Bowl stage. With Lawrence now under center, expectations have skyrocketed, and fans are dreaming of postseason glory. The young quarterback brings not only talent, but also a competitive fire and professionalism that resonates with a locker room hungry for leadership. Head coach Antonio Pierce expressed his excitement during a press conference, emphasizing Lawrence's elite football IQ and unmatched drive to win. The coaching staff has already begun tailoring the offensive playbook to maximize his skill set, suggesting a dynamic shift toward a more vertical, fast-paced passing attack. Meanwhile, team executives are capitalizing on Lawrence's star power, unveiling marketing campaigns aimed at energizing the fan base and attracting new audiences, while some skeptics question whether he can adjust quickly to a new system and the intense pressure of Las Vegas' sports spotlight. Most believe his transition will be seamless. With training camp just weeks away, the city is buzzing with anticipation, eager to witness the dawn of a new era. The impact of Trevor Lawrence's transfer is already reverberating throughout the NFL landscape, prompting a domino effect of trades, contract negotiations, and strategic shifts among rival franchises. In the AFC West, division opponents are already recalibrating their defensive schemes to prepare for the challenge of containing Lawrence's potent offensive capabilities. The Denver Broncos, Kansas City Chiefs, and Los Angeles Chargers now find themselves facing a dramatically strengthened Raiders team, heightening the stakes of every divisional matchup. Analysts are predicting a significant reshuffle in playoff projections, with Las Vegas emerging as a legitimate contender. Social media platforms exploded with hot takes and breakdowns of how Lawrence fits into the Raiders system, with many experts highlighting his ability to extend plays, read complex coverages, and deliver pinpoint passes under pressure. Football enthusiasts are also taking note, projecting Lawrence as a top-tier quarterback option for the upcoming season. Meanwhile, his former team at the Jaguars is left to pick up the pieces and identify their next franchise leader, fueling further speculation about their draft strategy and potential trade moves. The ripple effects of this trade are vast and ongoing, solidifying its place as one of the most influential and dramatic transactions in recent NFL history. Beyond the tactical and logistical implications, Trevor Lawrence's move to the Raiders also holds deep emotional significance for fans and teammates alike. In Jacksonville, the announcement of his departure was met with a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. Many fans expressed heartfelt thanks for the memories and milestones Lawrence delivered, including leading the Jaguars to their first playoff victory in years. His teammates in Jacksonville, several of whom have played alongside him since his rookie season, shared personal tributes online, highlighting his leadership and humility both on and off the field. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, the reception has been overwhelmingly enthusiastic. Raiders fans gathered outside Allegiant Stadium to welcome their new quarterback, waving signs and chanting his name in a show of support. Local businesses are already featuring Lawrence-themed merchandise and murals bearing his likeness are popping up around the city. His influence is already being felt in the community, with reports suggesting he's planning to launch charitable initiatives similar to those he started in Jacksonville. These developments underscore how a single player, when backed by talent and character, can transcend the sport and become a cultural figurehead. For Lawrence, the journey is just beginning, and all eyes will be on him as he writes this new chapter. As the dust settles on this historic announcement, the focus now shifts to what lies ahead for Trevor Lawrence and the Raiders. The upcoming season will be one of high expectations and intense scrutiny, with the team's performance under the microscope from both media and fans. The synergy between Lawrence and the Raiders' offensive unit will be crucial, particularly his chemistry with key playmakers like Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, and Hunter Renfrow. Training camp and preseason games will offer the first glimpses of this new-look offense, but true judgment will come once the regular season kicks off. Off the field, Lawrence is poised to become a central figure in Las Vegas sports culture, joining the likes of other superstar athletes who have brought national attention to the city. His leadership will also be tested as he steps into a locker room full of personalities and expectations. If he thrives under the pressure and leads the Raiders to success, this move could redefine his legacy and alter the trajectory of the franchise for years to come. As NFL fans prepare for what promises to be an unforgettable season, one thing is clear: Trevor Lawrence's journey with the Las Vegas Raiders is set to be the defining storyline of the 2025 campaign. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.